Now, the book of Leviticus that comes after Exodus is a book for the Levites, that is, the priests of Israel. I call it the red-headed stepchild of the law because almost no one wants to read about all the sacrifices and all the rules and regulations the priests had to follow, putting blood on their thumbs and on their big toes and all the other almost, it seems, crazy things that God required. God was the offended party when we sinned, and so God has the right to give the regulations that bring us back to him. The greatest part of Leviticus is chapter 16, the Day of Atonement. And it's called Yom Kippur by the Jews. Yom Kippur is the only day of the Jewish calendar where people fast instead of feasting. The Jews have 8 feast days today, but only one fast day. And that fast day you do without food, and you pray and confess your sins to God. And that's what the Israelites do to this day. Leviticus is filled with rules and regulations, and it's very difficult reading. The next book is the book of Numbers. It's called Numbers because it numbers the people of Israel. It numbers the tribes. We find out that there's over 600,000 men who are of fighting age 20 to 50 in Israel. And the 600,000 men are just a small part of Israel. Israel is somewhere between 2 and 6 million people. We don't know how many there are at this point altogether, but the tribes are all numbered, and there are genealogical tables, that is, tables of family trees in the early part of Numbers. That's why it's called Numbers. Numbers and Exodus go side by side because Numbers fills in gaps where Exodus doesn't talk about. Numbers, for example, talks about the king of Moab, who's afraid of Israel, calling for a man named Balaam, who was a true prophet, to come from Babylon and curse the Israelites in God's name. And when Balaam gets there, he opens his mouth to curse them and ends up blessing them. And you can read that story in the book of Numbers, starting in chapter 22. And it's fascinating, absolutely fascinating.